Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another little entry here, which is along the same lines as the one that I did last week for Cemetery Man, otherwise known as De la Morte de l'Amour from 1994, which was kind of a bit of an unusual undead film of sort. For now to go to a bit of a different take on vampire films with the 2013 film Only Lovers Left Alive, starring Tom Hiddleston, Tilda Swinton, John Hurt, Mia Wasikowska, and Anton Yelchin, and it is written and directed by Jim Jarmusch, who also brought us The Dead Don't Die, which I also made a video for and will link to at the end of this one, so stick around for that. But the synopsis for The Only Lovers Left Alive is as follows. A depressed musician reunites with his lover. However, their romance, which has already endured several centuries, is disrupted by the arrival of her uncontrollable younger sister. So we have Hiddleston playing the musician and Swinton playing his lover, with Wasikowski playing the younger sister. So this is one which I had enjoyed right away. Having been interested simply because of the cast alone in this film and this idea that it wasn't your normal kind of vampire film and that it isn't revolving around blood-sucking or vampire hunting or any other number of common vampire tropes that we see in film. Ideas that I really love in film, but it is nice to see something a little bit different, and like I said, with that cast, it definitely piqued my interest. So this one kind of heads down the road of being more like a romance and a drama, with the horror aspect, in the area of vampirism kind of being second to all of that. Similar to how Cemetery Man, though a zombie film in my opinion, steers more towards a dramatic, existential, and romantic kind of film rather than your standard kind of zombie film. So I think that is why I was kind of digging this one so much. Being a fan of vampire fiction, I like when it is taking less common of a direction as what we normally see in vampire films, such as another film I did a quick review for about a year and a half ago called Blood Relatives, which I never really heard much mention about, but it was, I believe, directed and also starring Noah Segan. That one's very good. Definitely check that one out. I believe it's on Shudder. And, the variation from that usual monstrous, the monstrous aspects of being a vampire into something more, which is also why I attempted to get into Twilight years ago, though it just really wasn't my thing. I definitely wasn't a target audience for that. Anyways, back to Only Lovers Left Alive. The cast is amazing, both in their character designs as well as their performances, treating the material the appropriate way and instantly earning my adoration. Whether it's Hiddleston, who I would definitely like to look like or play guitar like, be such a great musician as he is in this film, or like Swinton, who I would want to be as emotional and intellectual and empathetic as, or Yelchin, who I would want to be, as youthful and vibrant. And no, Wasikowski's character I don't want to be anything about. That's by design. She basically comes across as this little spoiled brat, kind of along the lines of like a mix between Lestat and Claudia from Interview with the Vampire in a way. Kind of mixed together, who just throws a monkey wrench into the entire existence of these vampires, and Yelchin's character is kind of like a vampire's familiar. We have some other ideas in this film which I don't see commonly in vampire fiction, such as Swinton's character being able to tell about an object just by touching it. There are two scenes which really stick out to me. One where she's looking into the history of a guitar and seeing kind of where it came from throughout the years. Or another one where she's looking through some books, and as she's turning through them and feeling them, she's kind of feeling what it was like when she first read them and what was happening in her life and just getting wrapped up in them again. It's kind of hard to explain, but it definitely stood out as a nice addition to, vampire lore. But also we have this relationship with Hiddleston's character and Anton Yelchin's, who, he refers to as a zombie, but they seem to refer to most people as zombies, was very nice to see. It's kind of, like I said, kind of like a familiar in some ways, acquiring instruments and other stuff for him, which brings into light a kind of sad portion in that he's tasked with having somebody create a wooden bullet for Hiddleston, no doubt so he could use that to end his own existence rather than the art project that he's indicated. After all, living forever is no doubt rough, even if you have other vampire, people to keep you company and exist with. Anyways, I'm definitely rambling way too much in this one, but the film is beautifully shot. The production design is amazing. The music in this is great. This mix of music that's very soothing while also being very eerie in some areas of it. And while some of this film is a little bit stretched, it runs on a little bit, it feels more like those stretches aren't so much to just kind of fill time as it is to use that design to slowly pull you in further as to what's happening with these characters. Making this a great one to kind of queue up late at night, turn off the lights, put that phone down, lay back, and just stretch out to this dramatic, romantic, and very slightly horror-related journey of a film which is more than worth putting some time aside to check out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this quick little video here for my latest entry for Only Lovers Left Alive from 2013, starring Tom Hiddleston, Tilda Swinton, John Hurt, Anton Yelchin, and Mia Wasikowski. At the time of this video, it looks to be available on Showtime as well as Paramount Plus. It's hard to tell if that's one kind of leaning on the other, if it's that it's on Showtime through Paramount Plus or if they're individually accessible that way. But it's also on Fubo and Pluto TV as well as paid rental. I of course have the Blu-ray because I just really love how this film looks, and having a nice hard copy of that, a nice physical copy really comes across great, especially being upscaled into 4K. So if this story of a reunited vampire and his lover sounds interesting and you want to see a bit of a departure from the usual vampire affair, head on over to give it a watch. And if you enjoy it, also think about checking out The Dead Don't Die as well, which I said I will link to in a moment here, as it is from the same filmmaker and is just as interesting and a really great one to check out. Anyways, thanks for coming by and for sticking around to the end, as it really does help out quite a bit, as does liking, commenting, and sounding off in the comments what your views are on this film. Like I said, thanks for coming by, and I will see you in the next one.